Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now yesterday I did a quick short video about Keir Starmer and his defence of cutting the winter fuel allowance after a few interviews he did on the radio. Now the quick question, the realistic question is there any defence for cutting the winter fuel allowance? And after all the comments I got after the video I put up last night, the realistic answer is it's a categoric no. Because what reason can you actually come up with for cutting it at the end of the day? The only real one is to save you paying out £1.5 billion, which is a really poor one. Okay, that is not a very good answer, because the Labour Party, as long as I've been alive, I've always had it rammed down my neck, but the Labour Party are the party of working, of helping out, the poor, the vulnerable, the less fortunate, the working person at the end of the day. They are absolutely against the rich, which, historically the Conservatives are for, which is all well and good. Now, since this particular version of the Labour Party have come into power, they've been everything bar that. But they're also not for the rich. So what is Keir Starmer's end game at the end of the day? Does he just want to punish everybody? Has he just got no grip on the party, that he's just agreeing to everything and going down the route of like a bit like spaghetti, throw it against the wall and hope it sticks? That's not a really good way of running a government at the end of the day. So, as I said, why would you get rid of it? Because at the end of the day, you are going, anybody in their right mind, okay, if they go and do this, they are going to get battered by the general public. You go and attack the military, you go and attack the elderly, you are going to get battered for it, no matter what your reasoning is. Because at the end of the day, this is a small amount of money. You're talking about £1.5 billion. When you talk about what the NHS budget is, when you talk about education or the military and lots of other things, this is chump change at the end of the day. Lots of other things you could go and attack rather than attacking the elderly. Because when it's said, and allegedly said, I've not seen the stats personally myself, but a lot of people could be affected this winter and potentially die. Whether they will or not is another argument, but I'm not going to personally get myself involved in. So why do it? Now, I did do a video earlier on this year and said there are other ways of doing this. You want to go and reduce this particular bill when it comes to the winter fuel allowance. There's other ways you can do it. I completely agree. There's lots of people out there that get the winter fuel allowance but shouldn't get it. When you've got millionaires, I'm sure, Prince Charles was entitled to, or should I say King Charles, was entitled to the winter fuel allowance. So there's lots of people out there that shouldn't get it. And I put up a video saying, well, if you did it, say for instance, anybody that's getting the equivalent of the minimum wage based on a 40-hour week, which works out around, at the time was working out around about £19,000-20,000. Anything over that, don't get it. Not having such a low bar at like 11-12 grand, because that's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. Okay, you're just purposely penalising people at the end of the day, especially people up north. Down here, I live in Leon Solent. It's bloody cold at the moment. I went out for a walk down to Tesco's this morning. Absolutely got battered by the wind. I phoned up my father couldn't even hear me over how badly the winds were blowing in. off the Solent this morning. So there are going to be people that are going to be penalised by this. And when he goes on record and says, yeah, but we need to do this to get a grip of the finances because I want to make up that there's a £40 billion black hole, and not happen to mention about all the people I've given pay rises to in the public sector, and because of all these services that all these elderly people take advantage of during the winter, like the NHS, transport, and education. Yeah, education, that's a good one, isn't it? Never would have thought I would have heard that one, but the elderly are taking advantage of education. So what do you do? The only thing I can say to you, if you actually watch this and actually decide to actually listen to somebody rather than the idiots you normally listen to, go back to the drawing board, think again, maybe increase the limit before you start taking it off people. I know you're not going to listen because you ain't got any brains. And then maybe your popularity will actually increase by actually doing the right thing. Not trying to be Margaret Thatcher when she said, this lady is not for turning. That's all well and good. But all you're doing is trying to penalise the wrong people. So I'll cut it short for now. Let me know what you personally think. Just drop me a message in the comments down below. I do try to get back to everybody. Okay. If you don't think I'm right and you think that the Labour Party are doing the right thing, I've got no problem with that. Just you tell me, you try and condone it. I guarantee you'll get a bit of hate for it. But, you try and condone it. I've got no problem with that. And obviously, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe as well. It would be muchly appreciated. But for now, thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you again a bit later.